Hello, my dear ones. I haven't said that in a long time. I got mint tea, and it's time for us to have a chat. So let's get to it. What up, y'all? Sharde here. And I haven't done a sort of like journal style podcast episode in a long time. Honestly, at this point, I'm not sure if I'm going to pick this up regularly, but I felt like having this conversation with y'all. So about 2 days ago, I had a total Mercury and micro braids snafu that ended up costing me some money out of pocket. And I am not in a position, like just financially, where certain sums of money are nothing, right? Like, baby girl is still, like, I'm considered middle class, but in this economy, that don't mean nothing. And so it really sent me over the edge in terms of like my distress. I had a total meltdown. Like, I was on my morning walk on the phone with my mama, sobbing and snotting and just all the things. And it made me, like, in the midst of that, I had one thought, and it was just like, oh, I thought I was okay, and I'm really not. And, you know, I don't know about anybody else, but I am one of those people who I just like put my head down and go nose to the grindstone. I just keep plodding forward. We're going to say this, the Taurus in me. I just keep trying to put one foot in front of the other. And I had this conversation with friends of mine before that many times because I present as such a put together individual, that people don't always realize when I personally am struggling. And so that is a little bit beside the point. But what I did want to talk to you all about is, you know, how the sort of darker sides of being public and front facing, right? That we know by now, like, my YouTube channel is not that big. I have actually been doing YouTube for, 10, 11 years, maybe. Yeah, if I think about it, about 11 years. And, you know, I do not have a very big YouTube channel. And partially that is because I have done, like, I started my YouTube channel while I was in graduate school, and I have done it with as much consistency as I can manage. And sometimes that has meant me putting it down for months, a couple of years, whatever, and not having like sort of blown up like some platforms do. I am definitely have been on a slower track to growth. And I think with that, we don't always see the sort of fatigue of it all, because I'm doing, like, I do YouTube in right now alongside my full-time job, which is I'm a college professor. And so I'm still like sort of nurturing this thing that I'm actually kind of passionate about alongside doing my day job, which requires a lot. Academia is a hard place to be, especially for me as a queer Black woman, and I study religion, and I study Black people, and I study, you know, persons that don't fall within binaries and things like that. Like, these are things that I'm passionate about, and it's hard. And some days, like, I spend a lot. I've spent many days over this journey in just shambles. And couple of days ago, that was me. I was in shambles, and to the point where, like, I've been considering, like, maybe I just quit everything. And so again, I bring this up and I sort of tell y'all my business as a way of talking about, like, the process. Sometimes the process breaks you, right? And breaks you to the point where you begin having to evaluate whether you will continue, whether you need to change something, whether you need to pivot. And making those decisions is not easy. It's actually quite hard. And it's not, these are not decisions that you even make in the moment, right? And so I was on the phone with my mom, and, you know, God bless her. She was super supportive, and my mom has always been super supportive. If you've been a family member to the channel for a while, you know I've done vlogs with my mom, and, like, you know, cute little things. Maybe I'll put an info card up there so you can go back and look at her. I love her. Like, my mom is my person. And she said to me, as I am totally breaking down, and breaking down in that way is really embarrassing for me, even with my mama, even though she's my safe person. And because I sort of grew up learning that you don't have space, right? Because of the world we live in. It's just kind of a thing. And that, you know, you gotta suck it up. You have to keep going. But, like, what she told me was something that really sort of affirmed me in such a way of, like, being seen. She was like, well, if you need to, you can always come home. And that meant a lot to me. And it's a privilege in a lot of ways to be able to have a parent that freely and openly is like, if you need to come home, you have a home to come to. So that really just gave me a push that I needed. Will I go home? Probably not. I am better than I was a couple of days ago. But the very real thing is, like, the things that I am attempting to accomplish. One, growing my YouTube platform in the midst of social media and technology, just, like, sort of wanting more and more and not having the spoons for it. Like, that's really a lot of it is, like, I don't have the spoons or the resources to take certain things off of my plate. So again, this is still a one woman show over here, and that's hard, especially because this is not the only thing I'm doing. Like, I got a day job. I spend hours on end daily with my head in books, trying to write, do my research, preparing my classes, and then when the school year starts, I'm teaching. And teaching is a full-time thing, and, like, teaching as again, with my sort of social location means that I serve my students in a different way, because I do teach at a predominantly white institution, or a PWI. And so I will say, like, today, right now, I'm still feeling very broken, very discouraged. And, like, the process of doing all of this work is exhausting, because in all parts of my life purpose, I am invested in my communities, and I'm invested in telling the stories of Black people, of Black women, of, you know, people in the LGBTQIA community, of which I am a member. And that is not easy. And I do it across the different avenues that I use creatively, that I want to grow into things. Like, I want to be an artist, right? And so you all know I do photography. But I have not been doing a whole lot of photography content because I've been teaching. And I am, again, writing a book. If you've never written a book, writing a book is hard. And I have written multiple books at this point, but, like, at this point, I'm working on my academic book, and that's even harder than writing fiction. Because of all of the research it takes, and the revisions, and all of this, and lots of stuff that I don't think most people understand when they see the finished product, right? So when I talk to y'all about books and books that inspire me and things like that, I also have sort of a different conception of it, because I get it from the other end of the person who writes it, and then, like, how hard it is to foray into getting published, whether that is self-publishing or traditional publishing or whatever. And so in the midst of all of that, as you know, when I took my sort of hiatus from YouTube, I transitioned to a whole new state, whole new part of the country, you know, a whole new job, all of that, which meant that a lot of the things that helped me be able to create things and, like, share more of my photography, I haven't had access to. So I haven't been doing it as much, which is again, art is in my heart space. And so not doing that has been rough, but like I have to get my way around a whole new market, build a whole new community, like all of the things. And it has been slowly chipping away at me in ways that I didn't realize. And I think if you haven't heard it, or if you are in a similar situation, and this is usually why I would do the Tuesday Tea podcast, is to encourage you that somebody sees you, because I see you, especially because I'm experiencing it myself, and knowing that it is, I would probably say it's normal. I would hazard a guess that it is quite normal to experience being sort of chipped away at in your pursuit of whatever the thing is. And sometimes it does break you. It breaks you to the point where you are on the floor sobbing. It has broken me to the point where I have trashed my whole closet in frustration, but I don't want to like actually break things. So I just like tear my clothes out to move that energy. And the loneliness, right? The loneliness in so many ways, right? For me, it's physical loneliness in the fact that I am in a place where I don't have my best friends. Like I used to live 15 minutes away from one of my best friends. I literally just show up at her house. And I can't do that anymore. All of my best friends live in other states. My best friend and co-conspirator from college, she lives in Hawaii. My best friend from my graduate program, who was one of my thought partners intellectually, lives back. She moved from Houston to Central Texas. So she's in Central Texas still. And even my colleagues that I do like co-working with and things like that, we have to do those things virtually because none of us live in the same place anymore. And that's hard. But also like feeling the loneliness of being an entrepreneur. And cringe and hesitate at that, because it's literally I have to be my own motivation most of the time, and I have to like seek out these things, and dealing with the very real parts of your human self, right? One is that I am deeply anxious. I worry about everything. And so that on top of being a perfectionist, like when you talk about like burnout, gifted and talented kid, I am poster child, right? And so knowing that like when you live with anxiety in that way, it is hard sometimes to take risks and to get the dream thing done, right? Because you've come up with a million scenarios of what could go wrong or what could go right. If you're like me and sort of fear success almost as much as you fear failure, it is all very distressing. And just knowing that like, hey, if nobody else has told you that they see you, I see you. I get it. And I understand you're not alone in that. And I think, I don't know that I have a solution to how that gets better, but I do think that we're all invited to, one, go at our own pace. It's okay. Like we feel like, especially if you're tapped into like social media and things like that, and most of us are, it feels like people grow so quickly and that they have it all together and things like that. None of us do. None of us do. The work is grueling. It is hard. And one thing I know definitely is that your journey is your journey. And you can't get away from taking the steps. You can't get away from the process. And you have to let it be what it is and know that, you know, sometimes that is very breaking. And you end up in tears. And sometimes you're in tears by yourself because you don't think anybody's going to understand. But I would encourage you, if nobody has told you, that all of this is okay. It's par for the course. And you will continue to have moments where the uncertainty really blocks out the greatness that is on the way, that you're on the way to. But we're here and we're in it together. I am still in distress. I am still broken. I'm still, crying every so often. And yet I'm still plugging away. Maybe more slowly right now. But I think if you have a conviction to do something that is yours to do, and you owe it not just to the people that will encounter your material in whatever format it is, but to yourself. You owe it to yourself to not regret not doing it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna leave you. As per usual, let me send you away with a kind word and a blessing. It is my sincerest hope that even when you feel broken, that something in you quickens to let you know that you are on the right path. And if you are questioning, that you receive clarity, whether that is the clarity to help you continue putting one foot in front of the other, or the clarity with which to know what way to pivot next. My hope, my sincerest desire is that somebody sees you today. Even if it's me in this video, just know that you're not alone. And whatever you're working on desires you the way you desire it. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.